Okay, yeah, that is right. I was starting to strip this car apart last time, so I suppose let's carry on with stripping it out. Okay, I think once again, plan is simple. Just strip everything out, rebuild the car in tip-top shape, and we'll sell it. Take the money that we sell it for and buy something new to fix. I think by the time we sell this and the last two cars we repaired, we should have a pretty good bit of money. I think basically this sort of work, like if you want to just like sit around a garage and slowly work on a car, this would be very nice and relaxing. Trying to make a career off of doing this sort of work would be stressful and I think a little bit difficult. Because you can't just do what you do in this game. Like, if you want to do this in real life, it's not just a case of, oh, we'll just unbolt every single thing. Everything's going to be corroded up, everything's going to be really hard to take apart. And you're just going to end up cutting so much of the car out that either you cut everything out and have to basically a lot of your job is going to be replacing everything piece by piece with very little reusable from prior, which will be prohibitively expensive. Or there's a lot of how do I rebuild as little of this as possible while keeping the appeal and image of having rebuilt all of it. Most of the people I know, or not, I don't really know anyone who does big car restorations. Most of the shops I have heard of, dealt with, who do car restorations, there is very much a what is your budget conversation that needs to happen before they restore a car for you. You want to spend, $1 million on restoring a car that is absolutely not worth $1 million? They will fully restore a car for you. But most of the time, what it really comes down to is people go, okay, well, make it as good as you can. I want it to look good. I want it to look restored. Will it be back to good as new condition? No. So that's just not going to happen. No one does that. I mean, I would hazard a guess that perhaps, like, I don't, like, whoever Jay Leno has working in his garage probably has a pretty skookum deal where Jay Leno strikes me as the sort of guy who wants things repaired right rather than cheaply. But he's also one of those guys that is a car guy to the core. He's not just likes a few cars and likes to think of himself as a car guy. Now he basically wants to collect museum quality showpieces. I think that's actually I haven't looked, so I don't know, but it probably exists. But I haven't seen it. I'd love to see someone do like a news article on Jay Leno's basically how his garage does car maintenance. It's one of those things where I don't think it's like the most glamorous part of his like the shop, and so probably not a story that most people would be interested in, but that would just be a cool thing. How do you maintain so many basic museum level automobiles? Say meticulously rebuilding, running cars out of the junkyard from scratch probably isn't the way to do it. That's another thing that gets me in this game is rebuilding cars. The most cost-effective way, honestly, is just to go to your junkyard, because you get the cars for really cheap. And to get a 100% quality car anyway, you need to end up replacing so many of the parts, because either part is repairable to 100%. Hey Michael, how's it going? Or it's not. And if a car, if the part's repairable to 100%, well then it doesn't matter that it started as a low quality part. It still ends up at 100%. It'd be different if a car could only be repaired to a certain percentage of its starting percent. Some of that. Or if the game just went, you know what, we'll reward you really well for a 98% quality car, rather than just it's 100% or not. But I mean, if there's things that they would do differently in this game, I think there's a list of things I'd prefer them really focus on before making car restoration better. How goes life in Texas? Ooh, 33 degrees. That is chilly. That's basically the exact same temperature that we have here today. Everything's still covered in snow here, but the snow has been continuously slowly melting. Okay, so this car should now have nothing. Oh, has almost nothing. It has that window. So if I were to sell this car now, I bought it for $37,000. I could currently sell it for $5,000. Not a winning deal there. Well, let's bring it to the car wash and see what the color on this thing was originally. All right, I've washed it, but I've not actually repaired it. A Galileo thermometer. I cannot say that I know off the top of my head what a Galileo thermometer is. Like, I know who Galileo was. I know his contributions to science. But I'm not sure what a Galileo thermometer is. Oh, okay, so Galileo thermometer is one of those floating thermometers. At least that's what a quick Google search seems to show. That's an expensive repair. Alright, so originally it was glossy black. So your brother's girlfriend thought it was just decoration. So as in like they had one, or like there was one and she just thought it was decoration and then realized it wasn't? That's certainly interesting. Finding out something you thought was simply decoration is actually functional would be a weird experience. Okay, yeah, you have one. What am I missing? Let's take that apart. So I found it kind of funny. So my brother, like I go sword fighting. I do medieval sword fighting as one of my hobbies. My brother he's taken some videos of me fighting, but he's never actually gone to an event and actually seen what I do. But while down in Texas, he went to a Ren Fair, which is a sort of medieval fair. So I just found it funny that he's never managed to make it out to a medieval recreation event, but while on vacation, he ends up going to a Ren Fair. Because what I do is not quite Ren Fair. Ren Fairs are very much, they are a show for the public, and what I do is not part of a show for the public. But there's not a huge difference between a Ren Fair and what we do. I just found it funny that my brother's first time actually like seeing what that sort of whole deal looks like is him going on vacation in Texas. I could be surprised, but I'm not. Yeah, so she was confused by it moving when the temperature is changing. That is kind of funny. Oh, there's not a... Ooh, I'm gonna be replacing a lot of stuff on this car. There is nothing in good shape. Ah, damn it. Oh, that's broken now. That was unfortunate. That's an expensive bit. Ooh, that's... Yep. A lot of parts gonna be breaking out of this. The condition of this is just all very terrible. Yeah, definitely. I kind of have a hard time with things that are just 100% decoration. When something has no purpose beyond just being decorative, it's fine. It was like art is good, art looks cool. But when something can also be functional and also be decorative, that is always amazing. I love it when something can actually do something and be useful while still looking good. All right, well, I guess we'll see if we can toss. So that, why can that, oh, so I don't have an engine put on, but is, okay, so what engine do I have here? The BU2T. I don't want to sell that engine block. I want to build that engine block. But it is not actually. Okay, there. That was weird. I couldn't actually put the block on. No, my brother is not back. I actually don't know when he is getting back. All right. I want to get rid of this stuff more than I actually want this stuff to be in good, to get maximum value out of the stuff. So we are just going to spam through the 15 pages of this as quickly as we can. Bit of a loud, jarring noise that it makes when you salvage these things. Would love to be able to just bulk salvage this stuff. It looks like it will never work. What is force is so strong inside the galley thermometer that eventually it will break through and eventually things will go up. I am not sure exactly what you're meaning. Yeah, like eventually the forces demand that one of them goes up. That does make sense. I can see the end of the list. There. And we're through the pile. And we've got shiny new crankshaft. We do not have the required pistons, that's fine. Oh, we managed to save the power steering pulley, or pump, water pump, and the alternator. I'll take that as a victory. No water pump pulley though. And I'm pretty sure we don't have a fuel filter because this did not come with a fuel filter. But this gives us some parts to go shopping for. So this is an inline 6. We need six pistons and 6 piston rings. And inline 4 oil filter because that's what our inline 6 takes. Poorly named oil filter then. And just a generic fuel filter because apparently all fuel filters are the same. I feel like pistons are another thing in this game that I could buy sort of in bulk because pistons are just kind of a one fit all sort of thing, which is very much not how this works in real life at all. But yeah, I do find like the idea of like basically liquid thermometers like Galileo thermometers are always really cool just because the fact that they're basically like a liquid balance. So it will always like they will shift around, but they will always in the end balance out. And it's certainly a neat idea, if not. Like I feel like most people's needs, they are not the most effective form of thermometer, but they are cool. They are cool while still being useful. Rod caps I need 6 of. I don't know how many cam shaft caps I need. And so I need 5 of these crankshaft bearing caps. Made in 1500 BC. So, sorry, the Galileo thermometers that would make them 3,500 years old? 'Cause I find it interesting that it would be named after Galileo then, because Galileo is definitely not. Because Galileo was a Renaissance uh, scientist, I guess. I always feel weird saying Renaissance and scientist because science was a different thing back then. That's really interesting because yeah, because like Galileo, all of his work is from the like it can't be older than 1500s. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so him having a thermometer named after him that is then significantly older than him is actually kind of funny. Not necessarily surprising. That does happen where people like a tool used by a certain scientist gets named after them, even if it is older than them. Yeah, 1500 AD is when Galileo was alive. Unless I'm completely misremembering Galileo, but I'm pretty sure Galileo was either like 1600s or 1500s. Probably 1600s, as that's when most, like 16, 17 is when most of the Renaissance scientists that we basically, a lot of the modern science that we rely on today, the way we do science today, is based off of the basic understanding put down by scientists of the Renaissance. That is not what I meant to do. All right, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need 14 of those. Now I do find it funny that it is definitely there's a lot of our modern science that we sometimes actually credit with scientists from the Renaissance period or even newer. That then, if you actually really dig into it, ends up was definitely found and used a lot earlier. It just kind of got lost in the Dark Ages, and then the person to rediscover it gets credit with it, rather than the person who actually originally did it, the work for it. But that's we sometimes really get caught up in the idea of science is new. People before modern scientists weren't smart, and it's like no, people were very smart. The advantage that modern scientists have is that they have more of the baseline science is done for them, so they can focus more on discovering one little new thing rather than having to build the entire model for themselves. Yeah, it's because the fluids inside a Galileo thermometer would need to change to the ambient temperature for the thermometer to be accurate. So if however long it takes to change the temperature of your fluids is going to be how long it is going to take for the thermometer to fully adjust. That definitely makes sense to me. Okay, more shopping. What do you mean there's no timing covers in electronics parts? Oh, so you had a pretty full house after the funeral? Now, yeah, I don't know. Like funerals are always one of those things where they're very cultural dependent on how exactly they're done. But I do know in some cultures, it's you basically end up having a lot of people gathering after a funeral, and then like they stay like sometimes people stay around for so long. Most of the time, dealing with funerals, it's that I've dealt with. It's been people will gather at a house, whatever, but they the people like a few people might stay for a couple hours, but for the most part, it's kind of people come and go, and you don't end up having a lot of people for any real length of time. But I do know that also some some places the way they do funerals, it's you end up having people at your house for the better part of a day. Yeah, so that exhaust manifold is yeah, definitely a bit bizarre, but that exhaust manifold is actually based off of the Skyline's exhaust setup. So you've got twin turbos in there. So you've got the air intake, like the exhaust itself is actually pretty straightforward. You have a 3-into-1 exhaust port, and then that one goes into a turbo and then dumps into the exhaust pipe. So actually pretty straightforward. But then you've got your air intake, which has multiple runners. So you've got your big, no wait, so you've got your air intake right here. So you've got your single air intake, all air is coming through here, but the air is angled in. That just strikes me as weird. But so the air is angled in, comes down to the center of the turbo, and then that air gets fed up into these tubes, where it then needs to come over to the other side, where it's going to come into this throttle body to go into here. And obviously it's going to go to the intercooler, so it's going to come out here, go to an intercooler at the front of the car, come up into the throttle body. Just so much going on it. But yeah, that's definitely this is not the RB motor. This is the we don't want to get copyright sued knockoff of the RB motor. But yeah, it's the design philosophy is 100% there. You won't believe it's not a real RB motor brand motor. Well, hopefully she is just has a naturally high body temperature and not running a fever. Mind you, 99.9 Fahrenheit is not a catastrophic or particularly sketchy body temperature. All right, start tossing on the body panels where I have them. We'll see. I may end up putting a different hood on. I don't need to put on a Ricer hood if I have other options. All right. Yes, it is a little mini stream. All right, now I should be able to just go to. Now I actually no, I'm going to go to Community Car Body Shop. So, I knew it. There's going to be all sorts of. We'll just go front bumper A. Now we've got the left door. We need the right door. Ha! I knew we're going to have a non-riced out hood. Could you go even more riced out with a hood? But no, we're going to go for less riced out. Now that's quite the bumper. Wow. We are going to go with the non-riced options where we can. No wait, what? Did I actually only buy the one headlight? Cars only need one headlight, right? That's fine. There. And then that one big stock looking wing. Yeah, for me at 100 degrees. So this is a community modded Supra. So it is very much a actually accurately modeled Supra from the from the look of it. But the engine that's going to go in is in game. So the engine actually comes out of this car, which is a Ripson Starline. So this is the exact same motor that I was just building over there, and here's the intercooler for it, up down here at the front. So this is the motor that this is the car that motor was designed to go into. So it is not a A2JZ motor. It is a, please don't sue us for copyright infringement, RB. So let's see, what taillight do we have? Taillight E. Taillight E is fine. We will put taillight E on the other side. All right. Oh, I apparently have a phone call. I am going to be quiet for just a moment here. Okay, and I am back. The wife was calling me. She was going somewhere with friends that normally I'm the one who drives, so they couldn't actually remember where they were going. So I need a left headlight. See, you don't need a Sharpie so that you can add mini to everything. You just need like a little mini sticker, like a little sticker with like the Starburst pattern around it, and just says mini. So that way you can just stick this mini sticker to everything. Then you can correctly label everything as mini with just slapping a sticker on. Oh, no, I did not mean to do that. I meant to move away the equipment. So I need to decide what state of license plate I'm going to put on the car. So I need people to tell me what their opinion, what state I should make the car from. Hey Shorts, how's it going? I am doing good. Alright, Jeff is voting Montana. Michael's voting Texas. Actually, I think I already have a car out there from Texas. Yes. So this car already has Texas plates on it. And then this one I think actually has Yukon plates. No, Nunavut. The plates from on this car are from Nunavut. I do not have a car from Kansas. So Kansas or Montana. No, that's not what I meant to do there. Oh, yes, I actually repaired a ABS module. Cool. Okay, back to shopping for these parts. Mini J from the license plate. I think I can do that. I feel like I'll hold off on buying that. That definitely got added by mistake. So you got a email from Twitch saying you got an affiliate done within 2 weeks? Wait, did I just already buy this? Oh, batteries and ABS modules are not going to be here. They're going to be over in electrical. Both of these make sense, but I'm still cranky. ABS module would just be with brake parts. Mind you, at the point where you're replacing ABS modules, I would already be crying. Life has not gone well. There are very few things that as a dealership tech that I hated more than dealing with ABS modules. They were always an absolute pain in the butt. Okay, like I knew something here didn't get added correctly. And I was in the middle of this when I got distracted. I'm out of those. That's unacceptable. See, now for this to be a proper RB engine, this cover should be red. Get that red top look. I kind of wish they'd actually let you paint parts different colors. Of course, I just left electrical, but that's where those C relays are going to be. We're going to buy a stack of these since it's never a bad idea to just have those in stock. You go through them often enough when you're rebuilding cars. Yeah, it is definitely easier to hop on a platform like Twitch if you already kind of have people willing to watch your streams. Going from scratch would be a bit of a challenge. I'm sure doable, but a challenge. So now, are you streaming pretty much just Farm Simulator on Twitch, or are you streaming other games as well? So you're convinced it is a 2J motor that it is based off of? All right, plates. Now, the first new plate that was suggested was Montana. So where's Montana? I do like that Friendly Manitoba has one of the best looking plates. There, Montana. The fact that you have to select your plates like this is kind of painful. You should be able to just type it out. Actually, this is going to end up... All of this should be over one. This is what makes it so excruciatingly painful. Wait, no, that's supposed to go the other way. There, Mini J. Okay, so we'll put that plate on. There, the Mini J plate is on. Yeah, that is definitely like, if this was a Xbox, I would be willing to, I would not, still not be happy, but I'd be willing to accept the way they were doing things. This is a PC game that has never, like, I think you can get this game for Xbox now, but like it has its origins on PC, and you can't just use a keyboard to type in. I am definitely at least a little offended that that is the way they decided to do things. Okay, so that also needs to get added. So many parts need to get still put on here. And I'm guessing if I don't have this side, I probably don't have that side either. I do not. Yes, that is definitely, it is a Supra that is being being rebuilt. One of the few modded cars I actually have in the game. Have in the game. Because yeah, the cars I've got in the game that are modded in are the Toyota Supra, Ferrari 458, McLaren F1, and Mitsubishi Lancer. There are other cars I would like to have modded into the game, but they just don't exist. I mean, the engine going in this car is definitely not a 1,000 horsepower Supra motor. It is just a boring bone stock motor. The game would have to reward you for selling high power cars more enough to make it worth building the high horsepower cars. Okay, so oh, I once again, as per always, I always forget to do these things. I need to pull apart the suspension. I need to finish lathing the brakes. Oh, apparently that was the only. I only had one rotor to lathe. Yep, boring bone. Alright, we'll pull those apart. And then we'll see if we can repair those rims. So I have been hit in the funny bone while sword fighting. That's an unpleasant experience. My opponent basically cut and landed right on the funny bone, and I dropped my sword. But of course, I dropped my sword, so I like bent over to pick up my sword and put my shield in the hand that sword was in. But I just dropped the sword of that hand. So the shield in the hand and immediately drop it just because that hand is it's done holding things. Okay, so I've got some stuff repaired. Oh. All right, well, you have a good day. I hope work goes well for you, Shorts. Okay, so I repaired 3 of the rims, but one of the rims is garbage. But that's fine. We can add that to the list. And suspension. So we'll go shopping. Now the tires I need are standard tire in size 255 30 R19. 255. 255 30 or 35? Oh, it'll bug me if I... 255 30. Sucks that you can't that it doesn't select the information correctly for you. So 255 30, and I need 4 of them. And then we will match the rims. If I needed 4 new rims, I would just get rims from scratch. But mind you, the rims that they put on this Supra are actually not bad. Now wait, were those ET? Yes, those were 0 offset. Okay, we'll put together the front shock absorbers. Yeah, I am not a fan of hitting my funny bone. Oh wait, did I? Yeah, I am pulling these apart. I wanted to put them together, not take them apart. Install parts, not separate. All right. And then this mini game still really bugs me because it just if you're doing your tires that way, you're doing your tires wrong. If you are putting weights on opposite sides, you are not balancing a tire, you're just adding weight to a tire. That one is actually balanced pretty correctly. You added weights to it twice, which is not great, but you added them at least in very close together. Here, no, that's 90 degrees out. No. The 90 degrees out was already a deal breaker. That additional, like, 100 degrees out, 100% not. Not okay. Not okay to do this. Okay, so I need to add that part. Need the sway bar links. We have the upper arm. And I do not have, that'll be the full-size bushings. No, I've got the full-size bushings. I need the mini rubber bushings. There. We'll order a stack of mini rubber bushings. They're just like regular rubber bushings, except mini-sized. So while there, I didn't add any other things. That was silly of me. And now you can tell that this is a modded car because you get stuff like that steering rack is going to go right through the engine block. doesn't go under it, doesn't go around it, it goes right through it. And that's because for the engine to line up with the suspension, all of that, things don't end up not sitting right. And that's one of the reasons where I generally stay away from modded cars, and in this game I probably wouldn't put any have put in any modded cars, but when I first started playing it, there were not a lot, it didn't have a ton of cars in it. Still sad, no one's actually made a 300ZX model for this car or for this game yet. Yes, that is accurate, Milo girl. That is that the way that looks is the way it feels. I think I should be buying 2 of those and 2 of those. I can't remember if I'm buying 2 of those or just 1. Okay, so now we're going to put this steering rack in, and it is just going to go right through the engine. And actually, the frame goes right through the oil pan as well. So the funny part about this is, like, as much as I'll complain about, oh, people modding and putting stuff where it doesn't fit, this is a thing that happens in real life. I think it's Audi. I think it's Audi. It might be another brand. But I think it is Audi who basically actually has, they have a drive axle. Their front drive axle actually goes through their engine. It basically the has a shaft that goes to the side of the engine. Then the shaft basically has a seal, and it continues through the engine. So the seal is to keep the engine from losing oil, but the shaft goes through. So I make fun of it, but there are real life cars that do things that are at least as dumb. Yes, Nissan has a V8 that does that, which is dumb. Like, I like good engineering. I look at stuff like that and I'm like, it works. So technically, I guess it's good engineering, but also, no, this is dumb, and you should have to pay for your crimes against humanity. Of course, the starter's over in electronics, which makes sense, but is also equally dumb. Of course, the ECU is electronic. That actually makes sense. Of course, I forgot to buy that. Like that's the thing with some of the what I call German engineering, where the solution to the problem isn't necessarily a problem in that it doesn't work well. It's that it becomes a maintenance nightmare. If I can pay someone else to deal with that, then this is fine. There's no problem. But me fixing it myself, nope, not interested. That's way too much added work, way too much added things that can fail. I'd have to be significantly more wealthy than I am to be able to look at that and go, yes, this was a sensible way for this to be done. I will I will buy a car that's built this way. Like the same way, I actually really like BMWs. BMWs are really nice cars. Uh, but I am not a BMW tech. I do not want to deal with BMW problems. If the car is still in warranty and BMW is just going to fix it and everything's great, then yes, awesome. That is perfect. If I now am going to be me, which is to say cheap, then I am not interested. There's a reason why I drive Hondas and Toyotas. I Yeah, I actually really like BMW's inline sixes that they have in their station wagons, and I love the traction control. And there's a lot of things to like about those BMW crossovers, if you want to not call them station wagons. But there's problems with them. Okay, so I need to grab some brake parts. We'll grab some cylinders and some calipers because I'm sure we'll need them all the way around. I mean, considering like as much as I feel like I can argue my buying a newer Toyota was a good financial decision, it is still I have a hard time justifying buying a newer vehicle at all, even with it being a reliable, good long-term investment Toyota. Buying a BMW would would kill my ability to justify my financial choices. I'll put it to you this way. I would not own a BMW until after I owned at least the majority of my house. Considering that I do not own any part of my house, we're a long ways away from me ever being able to justify a BMW. That was a bit of a weird look inside the gas tank that I was not expecting. People want Reese's cups, but I need them to live or I will die without them. There. You need your Reese's cups. I agree. I actually have a bag of Reese's minis. Need to like just take a picture of Reese's minis and like crop them into the corner of all the videos I do. Because usually every Monday night I am eating Reese's minis while I stream. It's just a very important part of the ritual. Okay, so this car is now mostly done. Mostly done is not fully done. Okay, so let's take a look at that car status. Oh, all right, I didn't finish putting in relays. Yeah, I could have just guessed that it was not going to have everything there. Okay, so then I also need... I'm missing a rubber bushing somewhere. Interesting. So I need bench Supra, steering wheel 12, and seat 4 leather D. Oh, is this going to be... It's going to be a separate body shop for... I don't know. There shouldn't... I don't see a separate body shop for... Or a separate interior. Nope. Okay, well, let's take a look. Seat 4 leather D. That I can do. And steering wheel 12. So that would be it. Yes, okay. So there, now I've got the interior all sorted out. this is going to be in electronic parts, isn't it? What do I win for that? Reese's Cup Thins, but why would you want Reese's Cup Thins when you could have Reese's Cup Minis? So somewhere there's a rubber bushing I am missing. Something did not get fully back together. My guess is that this suspension arm back here did not get all 4 bushings put in. Am I? Yes, right there it is. Got it. Got that one pretty quick. I gotta like that. So let's, no, not to the paint shop first. Let's take it to the car wash. And then I'll need to decide what color to paint this car. Since I've got to repaint, basically you've got body colors that are just flat. Okay, so let's see, what are our factory color options? We could just go white. You know, I won't lie, none of those colors are particularly exciting. I mean, like, white's a good color, but, like, really is not exciting on this car. So you like the navy. In the navy. Is that sort of navy, or are you talking navy blue? It really doesn't matter. So how about we go with that sort of navy blue, but then we there. Nice deep metallic blue. Could also go flat. But I feel like that's the wrong color to go flat with. There. Pull some of the saturation out. There. Nice sort of deep metallic under, which actually we're going to leave for a moment because I realize I don't like that hood. We are going with a nice, simple, plain hood. Doesn't need to be riced out. feel like that right there is a nice subdued blue while still being very blue. I'm happy that we're going with it. It really doesn't matter for too much because we're going to sell it pretty quickly. All right. So there, now we've restored a, let's see, what was this car again? It was, I think this is a knockoff Hellcat. So we've got a knockoff Skyline in blue. So we should have gone red with this. Get some color, different coloration. So we've got our hot pink Hellcat, our like true blue Skyline, and then sort of this nice more refined. Like I'd almost put that like as more of like a midnight blue. It's not quite dark enough to be a midnight blue, but I do actually like it. But so we are down to $24,000, which in this game, when you're buying and selling cars, is not a lot. But let's see. Oof, yeah. All right, so we start selling cars. So we were at 125 or like 130,000 when I bought these three cars. And we are going to sell them. Goodbye, Edgewood Wildcat. That puts us back up to 75,000. Sell our Skyline. That puts us at 152,000, so we've already made all our money back. And now this is going to be the absolute kicker because this was expensive to buy. But we now have $500,000. I like that number. That's a good number. That is enough that actually should go take a look. I think I leveled up recently at some point. Did I not? No, apparently not. Have not leveled up. Oh, no, yes, I do. 7 skill points available. Increase screwing speeds by 75%. We're just going to leave that right there. No comment. Okay, cuts examination time down. Doesn't really matter. We're going to get our walk speed up. And what the heck, we'll do that while we're there. So we've got 0 skill points left. All right. Now let's go see what we can spend our $500,000 on. Let's go to the car auction. I feel like if you have $500,000, you can probably get a little bit more than 500,000 Reese's Cups. I know Reese's Cups are worth quite a bit to us, but they're not that expensive. If you're spending $1 per cup, I think you might be overpaying on your Reese's. All right. So with my $500,000, I can't even afford to look at a McLaren. All right, so there's nothing in this auction that really speaks to me. Now I can get a salvage McLaren for 1 million, which I still can't afford. Let's see what the auction does on. Oh, this thing is absolutely trashed, but Let's take a look. Let's start the auction. This thing cannot be worth... Nah. Nope. We are going to bow out of the auction from here. I don't want to spend... Oh, I love how it has random people from my friends list. Jess just outbid me on this Toyota Supra. Man, Jess. Heartless. Alright. Well, so the auction house isn't treating us kindly, so let's go to the junkyard. When the auction house isn't playing nice with me, the junkyard is a much more kind deal. I still need to find my first permanent me car, and I think the car that I'm going to pick for that will be a Datsun 240. It's just one of those cars that I like in real life, and in the game it's going to be cheap enough that I can afford to collect one and not sell it, and not be limiting my ability to buy new cars to repair. But it came out in 2021, so it is a year old. All right. Say, well, it probably is actually mini car mechanic simulator. Oh, hey, look. What did we just find? We found another Supra. What are they asking for it? $20,000? You know what? I think we'll make our money back on it, so we will buy it. Seeing the last one certainly paid back many times over. Mind you, think that one is just a regular Supra and not the limited edition. Bolt cargo van. It wouldn't hurt to actually buy a van. It'd be a fun thing to restore. Very different from what I normally go after. See, these wrecked McLarens are so common, I don't understand. I can't afford a single dang one of them. Yeah, so the buy price would be more than what I have. I would not be able to afford to restore this thing. But at some point here, I will have to get myself together and actually be able to afford to buy one of those. Meanwhile, we've got a we've got our knockoff Mitsubishi Eclipse right here. See, but that's what I do. I find poor mini ruined cars and then I restore them so that they're not mini ruined anymore. I can only repair so many at a time though. Not everything can get saved. Mostly you can walk up to them and click on them and see what they're wrecked versions of. So we've got an old truck, we've got a cargo van, and we've already bought a Supra. I don't see anything else that's... I don't see anything else that's exciting. Like, how do I tell which one of these are not ones that I can save? Some of them I mean, it's mostly just ones that look like they might not be part of the background. But how do you know the what the real life version of the car would be? That's mostly just as a mechanic, I spend a lot of time working on cars, so I kind of just guess at what this car feels like it would be in real life. Sometimes I'm wrong, like where I definitely thought the engine was a specific engine, but Jeff insists it is a different type of engine. Basically, it is modeled after an engine from a different car. So most of it's just guessing based off of what it looks like, what it reminds me of in real life. All right, well, let's return back to the garage and we'll rebuild another Supra. Why not? All right, so let's get the thing into the shop. He might only be a mini Jeff in the kitchen, but he spends a lot of time looking at cars and is interested in cars. You don't have to work on cars to know stuff about cars, but it does help. Actually, let's take this car to the car wash. We'll wash it before we work on it. The washing doesn't take the rust off the body, but it does help. Makes it look a little less ugly. Okay, and so we start taking it apart. This one should be an easy one to take apart, seeing as we just put pretty much the exact same car together. But should be and actually will end up being are two different things. So we'll see how it goes. Yes, there is so much rust. That's okay. When we put it back together, we'll have taken care of all the rust and it will look just as shiny as the last one did. We'll either have cleaned all the rust off or just have bought new parts and not have to worry about the rust because new parts aren't rusty. Or at least new parts shouldn't be rusty. As a mechanic, I have definitely been given brand new parts that were rusty. I've never been impressed by it, but I've definitely seen it. If someone's paying the price for new parts, they should be getting new parts that feel like new parts. Some mini DW40, which is not actually the right sort of spray can to use for this, but seems to be what people want to use, so I guess that's what the game designers decided to put in. All right, well, you have a good night, Jeff. I guess I will see you on, or I guess more so hear from you on Wednesday. Have a mini grand time. No reason you can't have a grand time just because it's a mini time. Although I guess this the spray lube they use here might actually be a good quality penetrating lube instead of just WD-40, because it's not WD-40. It is DW04. So in WD-40, the WD stands for water displacement. It is not designed to lubricate and basically be like a penetrating oil. It is simply designed to displace water, which means when trying to prevent rust, it's really good. When you are trying to lubricate something or break rust apart, it is not the right stuff for the job. If you want to basically have some tools that you're going to leave laying out and you live in a high humidity area and you don't want them to rust out, WD-40 can definitely be used to spray over it to protect it. But what WD-40 is not meant to do is break rust, or basically get between rusted threads so that you can take them out. Your brain is smoking? What's causing your brain to smoke? Is it trying to do the math on how many Reese's cups you can afford? Or how many hours you have to work to afford a bag of Reese's cups? I think that's fair then. That is a perfectly reasonable reason to have your brain smoke. Okay, So we've basically taken the undercarriage out. We are now going to take that engine out. All right, the engine is out. And we have taken out the steering wheel. There should at this point now be, yes, no parts left in that car. That is excellent. We will move the welder over to it. And let's spend a bit of money. And we'll fix up that frame. So there. Frame is repaired and the body is looking shiny. All right, gotta take all those individual caps off. What a pain in the butt. Okay, so all those are out. Now we can take out the camshafts. And now we can take out the head by just randomly undoing random bolts. This is a perfectly good way to do it. That's a lie. When you're taking a head off, it's probably not going to be problematic to kind of just pick bolts at random, but it is not a good practice to do. All right, now it's time to go. Time to go repair things. second time I've biffed that one. Ah, well, not a bad one to break. Now that was a good one to not break. It is best if you're going to break stuff, break the cheap stuff. That's easy to replace. There, perfect. Oh, I've got a bunch of brake rotors to lathe. Oh, let's take these tires apart and we'll just run back and forth and get this all done. Which is pretty much how if you've got anything that automates in the shop, you definitely try to not waste your time. Like if you're flat rate, you don't sit there wasting your time watching brake rotors lathe. You do other parts of the job while this is going on. Hourly technicians are more likely to just sit there and watch, depending on whether things are going smooth. Like if things are not going smoothly, yes, take the time. Make sure it gets done correctly. Okay, so I should be able to repair some rims. Okay, so now I've repaired things. Let's do this in the sensible way, the way you would do this if you were doing this in real life, which is, no, why bother? We'll work on the engine first. Wait, what engine am I putting there? Okay, yes, it is still the same engine. There. So that crankshaft could not be saved. We need a new one, which now we'll toss out the parts later. Managed to save the power steering pump on this one. We will need a new oil filter. And we'll need a new fuel filter. Water pump's still good, that's nice. And we need a new alternator. Think that is an understandable list. What a waste of mini money. The mini chocolate trilogy cake. I mean, it's not a giant Reese's cup. It's easy to see how it would not end up being worth the money. All right, so let's get 6 sets of piston rings and 6 new cylinders. No, did not mean to look at the shop. Meant to add to the shopping list, not look. Okay, so we got the water pump pulley. So we need 6 rod caps. And I'm going to guess 5 crankshaft caps, although I did not actually count them. Okay, yeah. So there's nothing funky going on here. There's just one between each cylinder. Yeah, so it snowed a bunch last weekend, but it's been melting slowly around here ever since. Never quite gets warm enough that the snow just goes away, but it's been very slowly melting down, bit by bit. One of my cars is still covered mostly in snow, but the snow's starting to get very sad and droopy. And it's forming long icicles off the house, the roof of the house. Okay. So now we have the block has pistons in it. Time to put a head on those pistons. It is very sad, depressed, slowly being murdered snow, that is for sure. We'll leave spark plugs for now. We can do those later. They're not critical yet. We may as well wait until we need to go over to the electronics store for something else already anyway. All the shiny new things. Everything's shiny and new. No reason to be putting old rusty parts in. Although I suppose I could do it. I could build the entire engine up with all shiny new parts and then just somewhere put in one rusty old crappy part. Would anyone ever be able to tell? Like if I did all of these with nice shiny new little caps. But then right at the end, when I'm at the end of that row, I just put in that one. We get that one rusty part. How will anyone ever be able to tell that it's not in perfect, pristine condition? Okay, well, before it bugs me, I'll take that one little rusty part back out. And it gets a shiny new part. There. No more cruddy part. There. Now we put the cover on. But if this cover had gone on, it would have completely hidden that part. It would have been there. We would have known it was there. But there would be no evidence that it was there without looking, without taking off that cover and looking. You wouldn't know. I mean, we'd know. We saw it go in. But there wouldn't be a way to prove it to anyone else. You could try to tell the people that it was there, but they might just think you're crazy. buy a bunch of spark plugs because in this game, spark plugs are spark plugs. You never need specific types of spark plugs. You just need spark plugs. And almost every engine, there's a couple that don't, but almost every engine needs spark plugs. Now the ignition coils are a little less universal, so we're not going to bother stocking up on those. Okay, you have a good night, Milo girl. We will see you later. Oh, this thing's supposed to have that giant wing. I think not. We are not going to do that to ourselves. So actually, let's take this back to the car wash first. So we'll just get a regular wing for the back. We'll go with a mild aftermarket bumper, nothing too crazy. Then yeah, so we need a left door with glass. And then we need a right fender and a left fender. We need both fenders. Oh man, by the way this goes, you could totally put like a big wing on the trunk and still also put a big wing on the bumper. That'd be mostly terrible. That'd be absolutely terrible, but also kind of funny. I might just have to do that at some point. Okay, so I am missing a right side mirror. should take a look and see what the interior parts of this car are going to need. So there are going to be GW 500 seats and steering wheel 8. And I bought a bench seat I don't need because this one is only a 2-seater. All right. Oh. No, don't mean to do that. I want to assemble. I did not put the glass in on this side. There. Now I think that is done. Now the factory, yeah, so the factory colors for this are simpler. Let's go for a nice I like that color. But I want it to be a little less extreme. There, I feel like that's actually pretty good. Let's paint that. All right. Car's back in the bay. Time to start putting everything underneath back together. Which, no, there is nothing for me to repair. That's fine. That's understandable. But I need this to put suspension together. And I need to put, so I've got 3 rims that'll work. I need one more of those rims. Oh, no, I already did that. I need 2 of those. And then I need the tires. So these are sport tires, 235 40 18. 235 40 18, and I need 4 of those. So these are 18-inch rims with an offset of 40. That's a pretty heavy offset. And I only needed 1 of those, I think. I think I finished with all of the... Yeah, I don't have any more parts for the brake lathe. Nope. I wish I could cancel that. Oh well. Okay, so I have 4 tires that are ready to be balanced with the worst balancing you'll ever see anyone ever do. Nope, unacceptable. This one fails. So far, not bad. Okay, so that one, not terrible. I'm willing to accept that one. So far, no, we were doing good. We were doing good. No, that third one fails us. Nope, fails. So 1 out of 4 is not terribly balanced. The rest are all absolutely awful. Fire me. Do not. Don't let people make choices like this. This is unacceptable. No, let's not put on rusty old brake pads. That's no, not okay. Brakes are important. Do not skimp on your brakes on your car restoration. Nope, once again, don't do that. Now I should have enough bushings to be able to put this together, but I don't actually. I run out of bushings right about here. Well, that seems like that's a good enough time for me then to go shopping. Just buy a stack of these because I'll always need more. do love when everything's coming together with nice, shiny, clean parts. Nope, that's not what I meant to hit. Add that to the shopping list. And that. And that. And everything else. And that's not. Could not repair the rear axle, so we need a new rear axle. Could repair the rear hub, so that's fine. Those can get tossed on. Could not replace, or could not save the rear shocks, so we'll need those. Which is probably for the best. Don't try to rebuild shocks. Rebuilding shocks is dangerous as hell heck. Okay, so we did 3 of the brakes. We need, yeah, okay, we need 1 more. Let's go to the brakes. Let's clear that. So we need 1 more caliper cylinder. I would call it a caliper piston, personally, but cylinder works fine. It's not wrong. It's just not what I would call it. Nope, don't need to buy 2 of those. Only the 1, please. I have to say the rear suspension setups they've got are not complicated, but no, they're decently complicated. For a sports car, this makes complete sense, but there's definitely some of those cars that get suspension setups like this where it's like, no, that's just why. It's not the budget way to do things, and it's a budget car. Just do a torsion bar, call her good. I would be willing to bet money that a corporation looking to make a budget car is not going to give it a high performance, high complexity suspension. Actually, I say that, but like BMW is 100, like, not that BMW really makes budget cars, but like they make, like the Mini is essentially built by BMW. And that is a more budget-minded car. It still very much has BMW design ideas the whole way through. But they will give it a more complicated suspension. Why? Because that's how BMW does things. Is that the best way to do things? It's a satisfactory way to do things. We'll leave it at that. No, I did not buy the replacement, or did not buy the part for that when I should have. Okay, so this is mostly bolted together. Still do need to put that transmission on so we can put the drive shaft on. Okay. Okay, so transmission bolts up. We should be able to bolt up the drive shaft right away. Except for we need a new drive shaft. That is not a big problem, luckily. Alright, well, take it on faith that we've actually put the entire rear end together. I'm not necessarily convinced we have, but... Okay, well, I think everything that we need to put in now needs to be put in from the top. Alright, so let's just start adding things to the wish list here. Okay, that gives us a fair bit to work with. Of course, ECU is an electrical, same with battery and ABS pump. I'm sure we'll need the module as well. So ABS pump module, ECU type A, and fuse box base A. And of course I forgot to put the starter in. So I'm probably going to lift it to put the starter in because that will not be a top mount starter, I'm sure. But let's take a look at that car status. So we are still missing a couple of things. License plate, starter, oh, fuel rail and fuel pump. I'm pretty sure, yes, I bought the fuel rail, I just did not put it on. Now, starter can actually be installed from the top. Cool. Doesn't actually help me because I did not put the fuel pump in. But I don't think I have anyone watch right now, so I can't get any suggestions for plates. What am I going to do? Well, let's just look for something. We'll go for a plate from Maine. Done. I like it. Alright. So we did already buy the fuel pump. We just need to put it in. So we put a plate on it from Maine, and I think we are done. Our Supra's got an engine in it. Drop that hood down. Let's just put it outside. You know, don't mind the drive shaft sticking through the back of the car there. It is fine. Well, let's see. What's this done for us? So, yeah, we bought it for 20,000. We spent probably about 35,000 total in repairing it. And our sell value is 180,000. So, very well worth it. We definitely have a problem going on with the tires. Those tires are not, those rear tires need to be done differently. But this is the way it came to us. We're just going to kick it out like that, I think. Actually, wait a minute. No, there was different fenders. There was a wide body kit on this. Well, whatever. That's someone else's problem. It is considered a 100% restored car. We are going to sell it. And it is no longer our problem. And we are sitting on $650-ish thousand. Not bad, but I think I'm going to call the stream right there. So for anyone who is listening in later, I hope you have a good night, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever this finds you. But we'll catch you next time.